Gentlemen, I just come from a situation that was very, very dire. As a matter of fact, ladies and gentlemen, what you're looking at right now in front of you almost died. And it had not been for some of the things that I'm gonna share with you tonight, it really, really transformed my entire life. So, with that being said, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my face out of your face so all you can see is the information, and I want to get this party started. So, hold on just a second, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get going. So, what I want to share with you tonight is what I found out about last year after I came out of the hospital. I had gone through some very, very serious complications, which I'll share with you a little later in the program. And when I came out, ladies and gentlemen, I was concerned about what was God going to do based on my health status. So I called a dear friend of mine. He and I was in business before, CEO himself, Mr. Chris Oliver, and I asked him what was going on, and he introduced me to LifeWave Technologies. He told me about this patch, ladies and gentlemen, that I'm going to share with you tonight, and he mentioned what it was doing, and I just asked him if it is doing everything that he said it was doing, then, ladies and gentlemen, I needed to get a hold of it right away. So he had a friend, Brother Sam Smith, out of Columbia, South Carolina. He drove it down to me. Now, guys, I want you to understand something. I came out of a situation where I had to learn how to walk, I had to learn how to talk, I had to learn how to sit up, stand up, everything, move around, roll around, anything. Couldn't do any of that. I put one of those patches on my body, and ladies and gentlemen, I think it was about within 3 days, I had a lot of my mobility back, and what it did was so transformative. I just made up in my mind that this is something that I absolutely had to share with everybody I know. And so, that being said, that brought me to this point right now. So, ladies and gentlemen, when I think about this, these are the questions that I ask people today. Because being in the military, going around the world multiple times, in almost every continent, you go to a lot of doctors. You see a lot of medical people because you got to, every time you go out on any kind of a cruise or whatever, you have to go through some medical procedures. And do you realize in my 77 years of living, I never had a physician sit me down and told me what stem cells were. No one ever sat me down and told me not only what they were, but what they did. And ladies and gentlemen, when I found out what they was, I was very alarmed because I did not know that by the age of 30, half of my stem cells was going to be inactive. And ladies and gentlemen, hearing that, and then finding out that by the age of 60, all of my stem cells are going to be inactive, and I'm 17 years on the west side of 60, ladies and gentlemen, that really alarmed me because I asked my physician, what do you know about stem cells? And do you realize she did not know that much about them either? So when I found out that stem cells make up the tissue and organs in my body, and they are the body's intended repair system, that really alarmed me. Because when you go out to your car and lift that hood, when you see all of the components that make up what that make that engine run, if any of those things are not where they're supposed to be at a given time, it's going to create a problem in your vehicle. So if my body's intended repair system is not engaged, that means that I'm going to experience some after effects of things in my life that I don't even know what's going on. So when I found out that these stem cells was in my heart, they were in my kidneys, they were in my lungs, they were in my hair, they were in my eyes, they were in my teeth. When I found out these stem cells was in every area of my body, and then I understood that the less active those stem cells were, the slower I was going to heal and the more I was going to feel the effects of aging. Ladies and gentlemen, that really blew me away. And when I found that out and dug a little deeper and found out exactly what this does, I made up in my mind that everybody I knew had to know what these stem cells was all about. So this X39 that we're going to talk about tonight, this quarter-size patch, this what you see on the bottom right of your screen, that is in what we call a sleeve. That contains 30 of those quarter-size patches. But what makes them unique, ladies and gentlemen, number one, it is a proprietary form of phototherapy. Photo just means light. Therapy means healing, so it's use of healing by light and heat from the human body. This has been around ever since biblical days. I knew nothing about it. And I heard a friend of mine said by the name of Ken Robinson, he did not know a stem cell from a battery cell. But being proprietary, what does that mean to you? That means, ladies and gentlemen, this never existed in this format before. So what you are hearing and what you are sharing is something that's diametrically new. And ladies and gentlemen, that makes it exciting because not only is it new, it's proprietary, it is exclusively owned by Lifeway Technologies, but it's also patented. Ladies and gentlemen, that means this is not under any kind of review. This is not under any kind of test. Any of your cousins, any of your representatives, any of your friends, your co-workers, your frat brothers, sorority sisters, anyone who tell you that I'm going to do my own due diligence, ask them, do you have the facilities of 80 countries worldwide? Do you have the facilities, ladies and gentlemen, of the Olympic Committee? Do you have the facilities of all of the anti-doping agencies around the world? Do you have the facilities of the amateur and professional athletics? Do you have those facilities to do that kind of research? I think not. So when it says it's patented, ladies and gentlemen, what does that mean? That means that this is not on trial. It does what it says it's going to do. It's nanocrystal technology. Nano means microscopic. But ladies and gentlemen, it is also organic. It's natural. It's nothing that's going to cause any kind of effects with any kind of medication that you're taking. And plus, there's no injections here. You don't have to worry about a topical cream. You don't have to ingest any kind of pills. So it's non-transdermal. What are we talking about? We are talking about something that's going to reactivate that is what's already in you that's already now inactive. That is what this system is going to do. And ladies and gentlemen, being in the military, we had night vision glasses. That meant that if someone lost in the forest, someone lost at night, and we couldn't find them, yet we could put on these glasses, and because of the heat signature the body put out, we could find them just by the heat signature. So it reflects light to activate. And again, there's no drugs, no chemicals. It's 100% non-invasive. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to give something for you to look at real quick, just so you can see what I'm sharing with you. This video, I think you need to get a quick box of popcorn or something real quick. It's going to take about 15, 20 minutes. But no, 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 ladies. It's not going to take that long. It's only going to take about 2 minutes, and I'll be right back on the other side. But I want you to listen very carefully to what's being said and what these stem cells are all about in your body. Bear with me for just a second, ladies and gentlemen.
We all hope to age gracefully so we can enjoy our later years full of energy, vitality, and good health. But so often, with age, our bodies start to show signs that things just aren't as they used to be. Our energy, skin, healing and recovery time, sleep, it all just seems to go downhill. Unless you're using LifeWave. Since 2004, LifeWave has been delivering its amazing life-enhancing technology to people across the world, always helping the body do what it was designed to do, only better. And as it turns out, the best was yet to come. David Schmidt, our founder, creative force, and world-class inventor behind LifeWave technology, has recently achieved something in the field of regenerative science with a single LifeWave patch that researchers worldwide, spending years and billions of dollars, could not. Introducing LifeWave X39, the world's first product ever to activate stem cells. A true breakthrough in regenerative science that helps restore our bodies to a healthier, more youthful state in a way no other product can. The secret? By harnessing the power of LifeWave's patented phototherapy, X39 uses light to elevate a peptide proven to signal the activation of stem cells. Think about it. These are the cells that generate and regenerate all the cells and structures of the human body. They're the building blocks for our organs, tissues, blood, and immune system. They also serve as an internal repair system everywhere. But as we age, stem cells become less effective. Their ability to repair damaged tissue is reduced. In fact, by age 60, they've slowed dramatically. But all that changes when just one LifeWave X39 patch is placed anywhere on the body each day. Instead of older and less effective stem cells, X39 supports the production of younger and healthier stem cells. This amazing level of control over your vitality and well-being was simply not possible, let alone this easy, until now. And the best part? Like all LifeWave patches, X39 is safe, non-invasive, and incredibly cost-effective. Look what people are saying about LifeWave X39. Backed by clinical studies, multiple patents, and 20 years of development, any one of these benefits would be impressive. But X39 is so effective, it can influence everything about your body: how you look, feel, perform, and heal. It's time you experience the power of X39. Live long, live well, live younger. Experience the power of LifeWave today.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you saw what I just saw, all of these companies, Pfizer, Johnson and Johnson, Merck, Roche, all of those dug in and tried to find out about how to reactivate stem cells. But yet, the company that you and I are associated with, the one that you're looking at tonight, ladies and gentlemen, this young man that you see on the left side of your screen, this young man who specializes in age reversing, he's a scientist, he's an inventor, then he's a CEO. And he broke the code of how to activate dormant stem cells. And ladies and gentlemen, this young man has over 200 worldwide patents. Now, I want you to think about something. You've been introduced to a company tonight that's proprietary, that's patented, that's is validated, is documented, is protected, and you don't have any kind of competition. And you're with a gentleman that has over 200 patents. What better opportunity can you have than an opportunity like this? And ladies and gentlemen, you look at, he started dealing with regenerative marketing here. What does that mean? If you look up that word regeneration, in my line of work, in the biblical aspect, it talks about a radical transformation of changing something from one form to another. So when you look at it from the medical side, what he's doing, reactivating those stem cells, ladies and gentlemen, is also a radical transformation of reactivation of what was dormant. So it brings it back to that state that it was initially. So now your body is going to be healthier. So who can use this program? Everybody that has a human body. Look at what the patent itself says. This is a wearable phototherapy apparatus. That does what, ladies and gentlemen? It produces significant beneficial effects to the human body, such as activation of stem cells, improvement in strength, improvement in stamina, pain relief via a non transdermal container. The non transdermal apparatus reflects or emits specific wavelengths of light to elevate levels of the copper peptide GHK-Cu in the body. So what does that tell you? The only person that this program, this product will not help is someone that does not have a body. So that means everybody in your family, everybody in your circle, from infancy, from birth to transition, need this apparatus that we're talking about. So, ladies and gentlemen, and here's the good thing about it: you or I, being non-professionals when it comes to medicine, we don't have to be the smart person on the inner block here. All we have to do is point to the correct information and let folks go read the patent and see exactly what the patent says. So these are some of the benefits of you placing this X39 on your body. Ladies and gentlemen, what about increased strength? And once again, I'm 77. Now, when I was a younger guy, I was a horse. I did a lot of weightlifting, a lot of athletics, and all of that. But as you get older, you're going to lose some of that strength. What about inflammation? Guys, inflammation now, that's killing a lot of people. But now, one of the things stem cells does is attack inflammation. What about your energy and vitality? That ability to do some of the things they've always wanted to do. You can now play 18 holes of golf. Now you can play 99 holes of golf. Now you can clean the house without passing out. All of these things are now relevant in your life. Your stamina is going to increase. What about your mental clarity? Now you're going to remember where you put those keys. Now you're not going to spend time walking around the house when you're trying to leave to go somewhere because you can't find your sunglasses or you can't find your car keys. And what about muscle and skeletal conditions? As you lose that muscularity because you're getting older. But now because the stem cells are functioning and the collagens kick in all your tendons and ligaments, the body tightens up. And here's, ladies and gentlemen, in the sleep area. This is improving the sleep of so many people. And you will be amazed at how many people do not get a good quality night's rest. And what about improving the skin? Now, guys, I said I'm 77. I'm 3 years away from 80. And I know I've been told many, many times, Pastor, seriously, you don't look your age. And I hear that a lot. So sometimes I look in the mirror, I'll be saying, what in the world are these folks looking at? But I can understand that because it's a blessing when someone can look at you and you look 10, 12 years younger than what you really are. This is a huge thing, ladies and gentlemen. This is a study here that is in our documentation, that is in our all of our studies that you can find. This was a topographical study done on a lady that's 77 years of age. What do we do? They put a patch on the back of her neck. For what reason? Notice the left side of your screen says session one. That is inflammation in the brain. That signals either dementia or that signals, ladies and gentlemen, Alzheimer's. And what makes that so unique is we got people on our teams whose wife was dealing with some of these issues, dealing with these things, ladies and gentlemen. And just by utilizing the system, their lives have been made better. So look at what happened from session one to session three. Complete turnaround, better brain coherence. What was she doing? The only thing different was she was wearing that patch on the back of her neck, ladies and gentlemen. That is what this is all about. So when you look at this, when you're talking to your friends, your relatives, your associates, always remember friend, my brother, your cousin, they know us for who we are. They know us for what we've done all our lives. They don't know us as being medical practitioners. They don't know us being chemical science. They don't know us as that. So when we begin to tell them about something as unique as this X39, they hear us, but they're not listening. So when you can send them to these case studies at thisisitinfo.com and let them read the clinical studies for themselves, they're going to really appreciate you because now you're sending them where you got your information so they can hear what you heard, see what you saw, so they'll know what you know. But watch this, ladies and gentlemen. In the first few days, awareness patch, 4,000 genes begin to reset. Why is that significant? Genes are part of your DNA strand. They determine what you pass down from your lineage down to your children. In my family, ladies and gentlemen, diabetes, high blood pressure, high heart problems, those things run dominant in my family. I just lost my oldest sister, and she had diabetes real bad, dialysis, and all those kind of things. We eulogize her this coming Saturday. And ladies and gentlemen, when I found out that when you look at, they ask you your blood type, why they ask you that? Because they're trying to figure out what diseases were in your family. So they're trying to figure out what you are susceptible to. So if these genes can be reset, and there's 4,000 that's been reset in the first 2 days, it is known that one glass of good red wine will reset two genes. So imagine you would need 2,000 glasses of red wine to reset 4,000. But yet this quarter size patch on the back of your neck or right below your belly button can help reset that many genes. So what does that do? That means that susceptibility has been diminished. That means your life is going to be better. But within 6 weeks, your brain become more balanced. Deal with the children with autism. Folks are going with autoimmune disease. Folks have all of these mental problems. All of the folks that you and I saw sitting on the front porch, rocking but never saying anything. If their brains can become more balanced because those stem cells are now activated, that's going to make them a better person. Within 3 months, collagen is increased. Your body tightens up. It gets better. The crow feet around the eyes are diminished. You begin to look younger. Your skin is more vibrant. This is what this program has been doing, ladies and gentlemen. But within 6 months, this one here is one that really set my heart ablaze because I went through this heart procedure. I went through heart surgery. I know what it is to be opened up and your heart being cut off. And ladies and gentlemen, for your heart doctor to tell you look in your face in front of your wife and tell you that he is absolutely astonished at the amount of preparation that I've done since I've had that heart surgery. And what was the only thing different, ladies and gentlemen? That X39 that you see on the bottom. How can I tell you what? All I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that is patented, it's proprietary, and it flat out works. So we're not talking about anti-aging here. We're talking about age reversing, and that is huge. So how do you wear the patch? You want to wear the patch, ladies and gentlemen, 12 hours on, 12 hours off. In other words, you put it on in the morning when you get up, take it off at night when you go to bed. Put it in the nearest trash can, let your body reset, get up tomorrow morning, do the same process again. But here's what you want to make sure you do. You want to make sure that you understand that your body is 70% water. Not 70% Coca-Cola, not 70% Starbucks coffee, but 70% water. So you want to make sure you're drinking a lot of good, clean water. Reverse osmosis, water with a lot of good electrolytes in it. Why? Because you want your body to be hydrated so it can flush out a lot of those toxins. So if your body is not really hydrated, you're going to defeat the purpose of wearing the patch. So you wear one at 2 fingers below the belly button, on the back of the neck, or now David Smith says if you're experiencing a pain in your knee, your ankle, your back, whatever the situation might be, then you can place a patch there. But we recommend you wear no more than two. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is who we are as far as what our program does. But here's the thing: when Chris told me about this is really what blew me away because I'm in this industry now since 1982. And I thought I knew just about every business that's out here was really doing well. But I did not know about this company that's been around for 20 years, and I knew nothing about it. This is our headquarters now, 100,000 suite, I should say, of Star War material building. Ladies and gentlemen, that's 100,000 square foot of space. And what makes it so unique, it's 20 years old. We never heard anything about it. Started in 2004. But when it got to start, it was only more dealing with scientific stuff, clinical stuff. You saw more doctors and therapists running around. You didn't see any people like you and I. It wasn't until several years back when Steve and Regina Merritt sat down with the CEO based on what the X39 was doing and put together the marketing concept that you and I see here today. And ladies and gentlemen, look at what happened. The company went from $20 million in 2021 to $320 million in 2022. That is a significant jump. But they closed out last year at over $600+ million, ladies and gentlemen. What brought that on? This is not a Me Too company. I was looking last night through the sister This Is It info. And ladies and gentlemen, in Portugal, there was a massive crowd. In Tyler, Texas, there was a massive crowd. Getting ready in Houston, there's going to be a massive crowd. Atlanta and Ohio. Why? Because this is not a Me Too company. You have a company, ladies and gentlemen, that's been around for 20 years. No one hardly knows about. And ladies and gentlemen, it is not anything that anybody else has. This company has a 20-year patent, of which we have 15 years remaining. So what does that tell you? That screams, ladies and gentlemen, opportunity. That means you got a chance to put this in front of everybody you know and grow to the length of whatever your choices may be. And ladies and gentlemen, you got this. There's no competition whatsoever. It is not weight loss. It's not skin care. It's not hair care. You can easily replicate those. You can't do that here. So that puts you in a unique position if this makes sense to you. And my question to you, if it makes sense, then the next question is simply, who do you know? So this is very, very simple, but it's also very sophisticated. But what makes it so simple, ladies and gentlemen? What makes it simple is the fact that it flat out works. And the testimonies that we have, they are life changing, they are emotional, they are tear jerkers, ladies and gentlemen, and none of these folks can be lying to you. And the best thing about this X39, ladies and gentlemen, is that it flat out works. So if anybody want to question you, all you do is tell them, look, John, Mary, whoever the person might be, I want you to go to thisisitinfo.com. I want you to scroll down. There's a medical panel there. I want you to scroll down where all of the patents are, where all the clinical research are. There's a medical doctors panel there. The CEO is on there explaining how this whole thing came together. He's going to tell you all about regeneration, this transformation that goes on in the human body. And ladies and gentlemen, once you hear it, you're going to understand. Then all of a sudden, all you do is send folks here as well. And so then, ladies and gentlemen, you go here and you have all these testimonies. And this is just one stop. We have thousands of testimonies. And you can look here, there's multiple testimonies there. And each one of those fit somebody that you know. There may be somebody in your family, it could even be you. And there's some of these testimonies, ladies and gentlemen, it's what a lot of people that you know has been waiting to hear, but they're waiting to hear from someone like you. So I want to just put this particular up real quick for you. This is a pastor just as I. So give a listen to what this young man was experiencing and see who do you know fit this mold.
You're welcome. All right, I have another gentleman out of the Seattle, Washington area. He is also a pastor, coincidentally, and he has an incredible testimony as well. Harry Johnson, would you please unmute yourself and share your video?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I'm going to cut this pretty quickly because I respect your time. But long story short, I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure, and it was not good. I didn't have any energy. I was arguing with God. I was tired all the time. I'd take my kids to the bus stop at 6 in the morning, come back home, have to get into bed, lay down. My wife was wondering what was going on with me. It was just a terrible struggle. After my argument with God one day, the next day in the mail, I got these patches. And my good friend Lester Berry sent them to me, but he only sent me 3. And so I tried those 3, and quite frankly, I didn't feel anything, nothing happened. But I thank God that I was persistent in getting on these calls and listening to testimony after testimony after testimony. And I realized that all these people cannot be lying. So I decided to come on board. I ordered the top package. I got all these packages in the mail, and I started wearing the patch. They said in 6 months, your heart begins to reverse in age. I was pretty desperate. So I gave it a try. February 1st, I started. And I'll tell you, it took about 3 weeks for my body to begin to respond. So everybody's body is a black box. You respond differently. There's 2 flights of stairs going up to my office, and I would get to the top and I'd be out of breath. And then one day, I noticed I went up these 2 flights of stairs and I wasn't breathing hard. I went back down, came back up, went back down, came back up, 6 flights of stairs, and I realized something is going on. I feel better. So I called my cardiologist in October and I said, hey, I need my heart be tested. I think I'm better. So they were so booked up they couldn't get me in until January of this year. So I went in, they tested my heart, they told me they'd call me. They told me they posted online the results. I said, fine. I went to my office. I was meeting with clients online, and I noticed my phone kept ringing, and I looked down, it was overlay cardiology. So now I'm nervous, like, what is wrong? Why are they blowing my phone up? So I hurried up off my calls. I called the cardiologist, the assistant answered. She said, we want to talk to you about your results. And I was like, listen, I'm not being mean, but you need to cut to the chase. What's going on? I mean, am I dying? Is something wrong? And she said, no, 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 no. And then she told me something that really rocked my world. She said, your heart is back to normal. And so I praised God. I hollered, screamed, picked back up the phone. She was like, hello, hello, hello. And I said, I just knew my heart was better, but I needed proof. She began to read my file to me, which I didn't know. The cardiologist never told me. She said, I see in the notes that you're on medication. With medication, your heart should get better, but it'll never be back to normal. And I see in the notes the cardiologist said with blood thinners, heart medications, and so forth, we should be able to extend this life for 5 years. That really floored me. Excuse me. Okay, so long story short, my ejection fraction rate was 17. I didn't even know what that meant. I Googled it. As I'm talking to her, the screen came up and said, you are a heart transplant candidate. That floored me. So my heart is now back above normal. And I praise God for his healing. I thank God for Lester for sending me the patch. I got a lot of good friends on the call today. It means a lot to me because it saved my life. I'm able to see my kids grow up. So I'm not here to convince you. I'm here to tell you what it did for me. If you have someone you care about, someone you love, share, tell them about it. This technology is unlike anything in the world, and it allows your body to naturally heal itself. And so again, I thank God. I thank God for all of you on the call tonight. And let's just do this. You know people that are hurting. You know people that are sick. You know people in pain. Just tell them about it. It's all you have to do. And let your body, the way God naturally designed it to flow at a certain frequency that he designs, get back in phase and begin to heal itself.
Ladies and gentlemen, he said a couple of things I hope you picked up on. One, he said he's able to see his children grow up. That's the tear-jerking part. That's the serious part that a lot of folks are dealing with on a day-to-day basis. And there's multiple people in your sphere of influence that are dealing with these issues right now. So when you put that patch on, there's those stem cells, once they're activated, they're going to find those places in your body where they're needed. So you may put it on for one thing and it's working for something else totally different that you wasn't even expecting. That is what makes this so unique. So I want to share something with you guys, and this is what I want to share with you is this guy here. I want you to take a look at somebody. And this person here literally was told by the gentleman in the middle that's holding him by the shoulder and his position that based on the trauma that he went through, having open heart surgery, and then 6 days without even being released from the hospital, suffered a massive stroke that left him paralyzed on his right side, couldn't talk. Look at the bottom picture on the left. You see his mouth is twisted. You see his right hand is immobile. He has his thumb up, ladies and gentlemen, with his left hand. I'm right-handed. That's me in the hospital when I got out of heart surgery with my grandson. You can look at that picture, and I was a good-sized guy there. Looking at the bottom right, that's my youngest daughter. I was a good-sized guy, but I fell in the middle, down 30-something pounds. My oldest son and his wife in the hospital room with me in the rehab center. That's in the bed, couldn't get out. The heart, that pillow that I had, so anytime I cough, I need to put that over my chest. Then they have to learn how to walk again in therapy for 90 consecutive days. So how do you respond when your physician states that your presence on the earth is a major miracle? How do you respond to that? When that little girl right there, who's my physician, in the middle, you can see that the body shape is different. And the top left is a little bit smaller. I'm down to 238. I was 265. But what you're looking at on the bottom right, guys, let me give you why this is significant. Imagine what it is when you can't even use your hand and lift the bedding on your bed, when you can't slice a piece of meat, when you can't sign your name, when your independence is taken away, where you got to use a walker, you got to really step gently because your balance is not there. You got this wife of the decade and wife of the century by your bedside, and that's us when we first went back to church. So now, ladies and gentlemen, this is that same guy. That's me in our church right there. I couldn't walk up those steps to get to the pulpit before. This is Pastor Willie Turner and I in Charlotte, North Carolina. That doesn't look like the same guy that was in that bed I'm going to do, does it, ladies and gentlemen? But what about that gentleman right there on the golf course? Back on the golf course again, ladies and gentlemen. How did this happen? Chris Oliver told me about these patches. I got them, put them on my knee. Sam Smith drove them down from Columbia. And ladies and gentlemen, within the first several days, now I'm back on the golf course, playing 18 holes of golf. I'm driving again. I'm writing again. I'm typing again. What was the only difference? It's these patches. So some people may say, well, you know, Pastor Sierson, I don't believe it works. If you don't believe that, guess what? It may not. Because your mind going to accept whatever you tell it. Your mind is just like the soil. It doesn't care what kind of seed you put in it. It's going to believe whatever you put there. So if you tell your mind negative, then that's what you're going to get. But if you got something that is patented, proprietary, tested, documented, proven, and ladies and gentlemen got 200 patents on it, tell me what medication that you're taking that has all of that. We stuff those medications in our mouth without any kind of question with all those multiple side effects. And now we got something that's natural. Ladies and gentlemen, I follow this guy because I see where he's going. And that is what this program has done for me. So I'll tell folks anytime, if you don't have a testimony, use mine. Because this lady that you see on the bottom left, she was in intensive care for 26 straight days without going home. But there with her husband to make sure he got what he needed. Guys, let me tell you something. I saw and felt my life slipping away. All of that and what this man did, what Dr. Smith has done, by bringing this X39 to fruition, literally gave me my life back. It gave my wife her husband back, gave my 16 grandchildren their grandfather back, gave my 8 children their father back. Ladies and gentlemen, that is what it has done. So now how can you deal with this? Well, there's 2 ways you can work here. One, you can decide to say, look, Pastor Sierson, I'm a busy person, I'm doing well, or whatever the case may be. I just want to get the product. What can I do? Okay, there's 2 ways you can do that. One, you can get it as a retail customer. As a retail customer, it's going to cost you $149.95 plus shipping, handling, taxes. You get that, ladies and gentlemen, get 30 sleeves for $149.95. Now, you do that, I will generate a commission of $50. Or you can become what we call a preferred customer. Now you're going to save $50, but you're going to put a method of payment in on file. The company is going to debit that method of payment, $99.95 plus shipping, handling, taxes every month. I'll receive a commission of $20. But, ladies and gentlemen, I have a $199 overhead for my business. If I got 10 customers that are preferred customers, that's going to be $20 per customer. That's $200. That takes care of my overhead. But what if I just get 50 customers? 50 customers, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to give me $1,000. How many of you right now can tell me on the job that you have at this moment, in the next 30 days, you can get $1,000 raise? You may not be able to do it there, but ladies and gentlemen, you can do it here. So let's look at health freedom, which we just talked about. There's two things in our communities that are desperately needed. One, healthcare. And you can see right now the educational system is being torn up. A lot of people are losing their jobs. Medicaid and everything's under attack. You want to make sure you got some good, clean, natural things to help maintain your health. But then you want to have some financial freedom to go along with that. You want to not just be healthy, you want to have some financial freedom and some time freedom. I had the privilege, all my kids that was athletics, I went to their practices, I went to all of their games, didn't matter where they were. I went to everything they did because I had those things in my life. So that gives you and I an opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, unlike anything I've ever seen before. I've never seen another business that came along that got me this excited. I never thought I'd see one again, but now I have. And this came along. I told CEO, Mr. Chris Oliver himself, I told him that you were standing somewhere around. Somebody was waiting to get you in front of this because they knew I needed it. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I have it. So what do we have the opportunity to do? If you understand what we're talking about, there's three ways you can get involved. One is called a core pack. A core is $295. What do you get? You get 3 sleeves of 30 patches each. Notice, $295, 3 sleeves, 30 patches each. So what are you doing? You coming in, but you're getting dollar for dollar value. You're not getting a box that doesn't have nothing but a receipt and an envelope. You have dollar for dollar value with just a core pack. The advanced pack is normally 600, but since you get more, it's 535, and you get 6 sleeves. Why is this pack significant? This pack here is significant because this is where you want to be if you intend to build this business in a unique way, because you got to have a minimum this pack to open up the entire comp plan. Then, ladies and gentlemen, the premium pack normally goes for 2,000, but since you're getting so many of them and you're getting a discount, it's 1,750, but you're getting 20 sleeves. Why is that significant? If you enroll me and I came in at core, I'm not going to get my 3 packages in about 3 to 5 days. But if you got 20, then you can give me 2 or 3. Then when mine come in, I just give you yours back so I can start my business right away. And since you got them, ladies, instead of coming in at $99.95 per sleeve, you're getting it from $87.50. Now we have what we call an overhead. Every business that you're in has overhead, whether it's hamburgers, whether it's suits, whether it's shirts, whether it's wigs, whether it's lipstick, whatever. You have to have something to have inventory. Ours is just by having a sleeve. That one sleeve will guarantee you that all of the points that you generate, because everything in your business has a dollar value attached to it. Those points go into your business, your left side or your right side, because you got a binary business. But for you to get the complete comp plan, ladies and gentlemen, and get everything it has to offer, you need to have that 199 subscription. That's the one I said is my month overhead of $200. So I have the 535 pack and then the 199. Cassie Bennett on our team, he started at 535 and didn't take him over here and his wife says, wait a minute, Pastor Sierson, we need to move up. So how do you do it? You just do it by paying the difference. And you can always upgrade to the next. So by having that 535 pack or higher, having the 199 subscription on a month-to-month basis, if I can find 4 people That's going to make me a manager, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to show you what that's going to do for your business. Again, retail, preferred. Retail, I generate what? $50 commission. So if you all you did was just go out this month and work and sold 10 memberships per week, that's $500. That's $2,000 a month on just selling the membership at retail. Or if you got preferred customers and you got 10 of those, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be $200. But if you got 50, then that's $1,000 more. That's a $12,000 a year raise. You don't find many people getting that kind of raise every single day, ladies and gentlemen, but you can get that here. Why does this make sense? Because what I shared with you initially, if this made sense, it's going to make dollars and cents, ladies and gentlemen. That's why this is so significant. Now, if you enroll me and I came in at the core package, you're going to get a one-time product information bonus of $35. If you enroll me at advanced, you get a one-time product information bonus of $75. If you enroll me at premium, you get a one-time product information bonus of $405. But notice the 180, 300, and the 745. What does that mean? Everything we have has business volume points attached. You have a right side of your business and a left side. It's a binary. So it depends on which side of your business you're enrolling the person at. Those volume points are going to go in that side of the business. Every week they add those points up, and based on the total that's in those systems, you get paid a bonus on that as well. But this is where, ladies and gentlemen, the rubber meets the road. To hit that manager position, all you need is the minimum 535 pack or higher, two personal people you enroll on your left, two on your right, and you have the 199 subscription per month. Why is that significant? My wife uses 30 patches, so do I. So I have to have that anyway. At the manager position, that position pays up to $1,500 a week. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know a whole lot of people that started to work last month and this month jumped to $1,500 a week. I did that in my first few weeks, and I just got out of the hospital. That's $6,000 a month. What job do you know somebody can do that, but yet you can do that right here? There's those of you on this call right now, I would say before the end of this month, could go from manager all the way to director. What does that take? Only way that you can make director is help two people on your team, one on your right, one on your left, become a director. What does that mean? You help them, you help those two people become managers, that makes you a director. Now you got to have a minimum three on your left, three on your right. Now you're earning, ladies and gentlemen, up to $2,500 per week. That's $10,000 a month. Guys, think about something. That's why Portugal, that's why Puerto Rico, that's why Houston, that's why these places are going haywire right now because of how lucrative this program is. And how do you hit senior director? You have two people on your team become director. You have two people on your team hit director, one on your left, one on your right. You hit the senior director level. I was able to do that thanks to a phenomenal team. It wasn't done by me. It was done by a team of people. That's $3,500 a week, guys. I've been doing this thing for years. I know what it is to generate more than $10,000 a month, and I never seen it happen this quick. And I never seen it happen in this way. So now you can earn up to $25,000 per week. But ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't stop there. Our goal is to help everybody on this call. All you got to do is become a master at pointing. If you can just point folks in this direction, point into this presentation, every single day there's a presentation going on. Bring your friends, your relatives, your associates to these calls. Our job is to do the heavy lifting. Your job is to get the muscles. And because we're going to help you enroll a minimum of two people on the left, two on your right, that's going to make you a manager. You got to have the 535 pack or higher. You got to have a 199 subscription. And you must have two on the left, two on the right. When you become a manager, that opens up the entire comp plan, ladies and gentlemen. What does that do for you? Now think about this. You can enroll as many people as you want. So let's say you enroll 10 people, and those 10 people are doing $1,000 a month. That's $10,000 a month. The company's going to pay you a 25% matching bonus on that 10,000. But what if those 10 enroll 10 of their own? That's your second level. That's 100 on your second level. But if 100 doing 1,000, that's $100,000 a month. You're getting 25% on a level one. Now you're getting 20% on what 100 people are doing. But if that 100 enroll 10, that's 1,000 on your third. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's another 20% based on what they're doing on your third level. And what makes this so unique, that the company is getting ready to make a shift next month. So you at the right place at the right time. So whoever invited you to this call, you need to call them immediately and shake their hand, give them a high five or something, because they are putting you in a position to truly win for the first time in many people's lives. And ladies and gentlemen, all of this is going to change a little bit. So you're in the right place to see all of that happen. And then, guys, we have This Is It team. This is the website that helps you build your business to whatever level you care to build it. You got all the leadership, you got all the help you need. You got the Vanita Monks, you got all of these folks around. You got all of these folks, Brother Peyton, you got all of these folks. You got Z Kendrick, you got Chris Oliver. You got some of the best, the creme de la creme, to help you build your business. And then we have one of the best in the business, which is our own brother, Ken Robinson. So, ladies and gentlemen, you got all of this. Then you can use these business building tools. You can take these, this is what I use. I put that little blue card in an envelope and 4 or 5 patches, and I'm sitting in somewhere talking, and I'm hearing you telling me about sciatica nerves. So what I do, I said, look, I got something you might want to try. So I want you to take this, put it on your back. For the next 5 days, I'm gonna call you in 3. Give me your phone number, and I want you to tell me how you're feeling. This is what I call sampling out. This is what determines what level I come in at, because I need sampling to have forms to sample out. Then you have the LifeWay of New in Touch app, where you can send out videos that they'll tell you when someone open it up, how much of it they watch, and what their potential is. All of these tools that help you win. So, ladies and gentlemen, we tell folks do this. Just get mad. What does that mean? Just make a decision. Just make a decision. Decide what level you want to come in. Use the level of your belief level. Let your belief get stretched. I was talking to a gentleman today, brother CEO, and we were talking about what we spend money on. And we spend huge money on stuff that has no value and have very little worth. But we spend it. We got $500-600 mistakes that's hanging in our closets. But yet we won't put $500 or $600 in a business. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want something good, you got to put something good in. If you can find value and worth, trust me, cost is never going to matter. So I would suggest that you get back to the person who invited you to this call. Get started tonight and have somebody back on this call again on tomorrow, because you got a 100% money back guarantee. And ladies and gentlemen, when you talk about the premium pack, this is what you get. Not only do you get a product information bonus of $405, but you're getting it for $1,750, so you save it. You get 20 sleeves. You're active. You don't have to worry about an auto ship for the next 90 days. You got 525 PV in enrollment and 2 months subscription included on 110 PV per month, and plus it's reduced to $87.50 per sleeve. The first savings you're going to realize, guys, is now instead of paying $99 a sleeve, you get it for $87.50. Second savings is a monthly subscription for the first 2 months. So you're going to save money there. That's about $399. Third savings is shipping and handling for 2 months. That's about $16.40. So all total, you're going to save about $665 just by coming in at that level. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the power of this investment. This is the advantage of the power of the premium, because it's for a very serious entrepreneur. Others are going to ask you what level you came in, because trust me, if you enroll me, my question to you is what level you came in at. I came in at the 535. That's the level I started. For those wanting the best price on their purchase, they're going to look for the best value. Inventory to patch others via mail or in person, and the inventory to advance new brand partners until this system arrives. Plus, you got about 400 and some odd tax deductions. So, ladies and gentlemen, what you've heard tonight, I believe you heard enough information for you to make a wise decision. So what's our goal for you tonight? It's for you to get back to the person that invited you on this call and let them see and hear exactly what your desires are. And I want to show you something just before we go. I want you to see the gentleman who's been talking to you tonight. I want you to see this. That's a fist, ladies and gentlemen, that I couldn't make before. I couldn't pick up an ink pen before. I couldn't do this. I couldn't write. I couldn't sign my name. I couldn't hardly talk. My lip was twisted. Ladies and gentlemen, 77 years of age, back on the golf course, doing all those things I could not do before. What is the only difference? The only difference is called X39. So, guys, it has been my pleasure to honor my dear friend, Brother Ken Robinson, and to follow the great leadership of our upline senior partner, Mr. Chris Oliver. Guys, get back tonight with the person who invited you to this call. Get to the next level. I think there's another call coming up tonight at 10 o'clock. You got time to get started and get back on another call and bring guests and get your business rolling tonight. Don't hesitate, guys. If you're going to spend money on stuff that may be here tomorrow and not, then take some time and put some of that money into place that can generate the kind of income that can pay you and your family for the rest of their lives. So again, this is Pastor Sierson out of Sumter, South Carolina. It's been my privilege and my great honor to share with you tonight. So get back to the person invited you to the call. All the best, and we look forward to seeing each one of you at the top. God bless everyone. Enjoy the rest of your night. Enjoy yourself and get busy, and let's start living. God bless everyone, and good night.